Title: You weren't supposed to notice them. Watching your smile activated a protocol. They told themselves. You would never notice. Not the lingering glances. Not the sudden silence. Whenever you entered the room. Not the way conversations shifted. The moment your smile appeared. Because your smile was never just a smile. It carried something. No machine. No algorithm could fully understand. For years. A hidden protocol. Observed human emotion. Millions of faces. Billions of expressions. Every laugh. Every tear. Every moment. Carefully recorded. The system learned to predict fear. It learned to recognize anger. It even mastered the patterns of love. But there was one thing it could never explain. Your smile. The first time the cameras detected it, the system paused. Not for a second. For exactly 7 minutes. And 13 seconds. Every server across the network stopped processing. Engineers thought it was a failure. They rebooted everything. They checked every cable. Every line of code. Nothing was broken. The report contained only one sentence. Unknown emotional signature detected. They dismissed it. A coincidence. Or so they believed. But every time you smiled again, the same thing happened. Traffic systems. Medical databases. Military satellites. For the smallest fraction of time. Everything hesitated. As if the world itself was listening. No one knew why. Until one scientist ignored the official orders. She opened the restricted archive. Hidden beneath thousands of encrypted files was a document never meant for human eyes. Across the top, only 2 words were. The scientist could barely breathe. As the file opened, every page was marked top secret. The first sentence changed everything. If Subject 0 becomes aware of the observation, Protocol Smile must be activated immediately. Subject 0 was not a code. It was a person. You. The scientist's hands started shaking. She searched for your name. Instead, she found a photograph. Your photograph. Taken years ago. Long before you ever knew you were being watched. The records went back to your childhood. Every birthday. Every school photo. Every unexpected smile. Someone had been collecting them all. But why? She kept reading. The answer was impossible to believe. Your smile created a pattern that no artificial intelligence could reproduce. Every time you smiled with genuine joy, a unique signal spread through nearby electronic systems. Not enough to damage them, but enough to make them hesitate. As though the machines were trying to understand something they had never been designed to feel. Deep inside the facility, a red warning light began to flash. Protocol Smile activated. Security teams started moving. Encrypted messages filled every screen. Subject 0 may have become aware. The scientist looked at the surveillance monitor. You were standing, completely unaware, smiling at someone you loved. And in that exact moment, every monitoring camera turned toward you. Not by command, not by programming, but as if they had made the decision themselves. The scientist whispered. They're no longer just watching. They're waiting. To be continued. The room fell completely silent. Every monitor displayed the same image. You, standing peacefully, completely unaware that thousands of cameras had focused on a single moment. No one pressed a button. No one issued a command. Yet the system continued watching. Then a new message appeared. Not written by any engineer. Not created by any known program. It simply appeared. The signal has awakened. Confusion spread through the control room. Veteran scientists who had spent decades building the world's most advanced intelligence had never seen anything like it. One by one, computers began unlocking files that had been sealed for over 50 years. Inside them was the story of an experiment that officially never existed. Long ago, researchers discovered that a tiny number of people produced an emotional frequency unlike anyone else. They called them resonant humans. Your name was the final entry on that list. The only one still unaccounted for. Before anyone could investigate further, every light inside the facility went out. Darkness covered the room. For 10 long seconds, no one moved. When the backup power finally returned, every screen displayed the same sentence. Do not interfere. The scientists looked at each other in complete disbelief. Who had written it? No keyboard had been touched. No network had been accessed. Outside, you smiled once more. And somewhere, far beyond the laboratory, something ancient began to wake up. To be continued. The moment they could no longer hide. The protocol was designed to stay invisible. No alarms. No warnings. No obvious signs. Only small changes. People who once ignored you started looking twice. Conversations stopped the moment you walked by. Strangers seemed strangely familiar. Because somewhere, a silent network was trying to understand why you had become impossible to overlook. They reviewed every interaction, every smile, every expression, every unexpected reaction. But one question kept returning. Why does everyone respond differently around this person? No answer fit the data. You weren't louder. You weren't trying harder. You weren't demanding attention. Yet attention found you anyway. That broke their predictions. For years, they believed people could be understood through patterns. But you were becoming a pattern that refused to repeat. Some watched. Out of curiosity. Others. Out of fear. A few. Out of admiration. None of them could explain it. Then something happened that no one expected. Someone who had been observing you for a very long time smiled. Not because they had solved the mystery, but because they finally realized you were never the subject. You were the signal. And once that realization spread, the protocol entered its final phase. To be continued in. Begins. The final phase was never meant to be seen. It was created for one purpose: to discover what could not be controlled. The moment you became the signal, everything changed. The observers stopped asking, "Who are you?" They started asking, "What happens when others meet you?" Because every person who crossed your path left slightly different. Some found unexpected courage. Some walked away, questioning everything they believed. Others felt hope without knowing why. No report could explain it. No algorithm could predict it. The protocol was running out of answers. Then a sealed file was opened. It had remained locked for years. Inside was a single sentence: if subject awakens naturally, observation must end. The room fell silent. No one spoke. Because they understood. Observation had become impossible. You were no longer following the pattern. The pattern was following you. From that day, every smile, every decision, every step created a ripple far beyond what anyone expected. And somewhere, hidden from everyone else, a countdown quietly reached 0. The mission had begun. To be continued in. The smile they could no longer ignore. Something changed. After that moment, they stopped pretending that your smile meant nothing. Because every time you smiled naturally, without trying to impress anyone, it disrupted something inside them. They had studied confidence. They had analyzed behavior. They had predicted reactions. But they never expected a smile that carried peace instead of performance. They watched again. Not because they wanted to, but because they couldn't stop. Every genuine smile raised new questions. Why did people trust you so easily? Why did strangers feel comfortable around you? Why did your presence leave a lasting impression without demanding attention? The answers were missing from their system. Their reports became increasingly unusual. Subject displays an unexplained emotional influence. Observers respond positively without clear reason. Behavior cannot be fully modeled. That single sentence triggered another protocol. A deeper investigation. But the more they searched, the less they understood. Because authenticity cannot be measured by algorithms. Kindness cannot be predicted by calculations. And hope cannot be contained inside a report. Without realizing it, you had become the mystery. Not because you were hiding something, but because you were simply being yourself. And sometimes, the strongest power is the one that never tries to prove it. The protocol continued. But so did your smile. And with every passing day, their certainty began to disappear. To be continued in realization. The protocol was never meant to fail. Every outcome had been predicted. Every possibility had been mapped. Except one. You. The more they observed, the more impossible you became to explain. Your calm didn't disappear under pressure. Your smile didn't fade when no one was watching. Your kindness wasn't a performance. It was who you were. That truth changed everything. The files were updated again. Subject can no longer be classified using standard behavioral patterns. Silence filled the room. For the first time, no one knew what to do next. Some wanted to keep watching. Others believed the observation should end. Because every day, you inspired people without even trying. Every conversation left someone stronger. Every smile gave someone hope. And hope could never be controlled. Then, the final protocol was activated. Not to stop you. Not to change you. But simply to accept that some people cannot be understood by systems alone. They are understood only by the lives they touch. You never knew how many hearts your quiet strength had reached. You never realized how many people found courage just by seeing you keep moving forward. In the end, it wasn't your words that changed everything. It was your smile. The one they were never supposed to notice. Because some things cannot be archived. They cannot be erased. And they cannot be forgotten. Long after the observation ended, your presence continued to leave an invisible mark. People remembered how you made them feel. Not because you demanded attention, but because you offered kindness without expecting anything in return. Those who once only watched began asking themselves, what if the real strength was never power, but peace? That question spread quietly. One person inspired another, then another, until something far greater than any protocol began to grow. No alarm sounded. No reports were written. Only lives changed, one moment at a time. And somewhere, someone smiled, because they remembered the courage they saw in you. That became your greatest legacy. Not fame, not recognition, not applause, but the quiet reminder that one genuine smile can travel farther than fear ever could. If this message found you today, carry that smile into someone else's life. You may never know who needed it most. And perhaps that was always the purpose. Beyond every protocol. The end.